Today I'm going to talk about some of the huge mistakes that divorcing couples make when they're trying to choose a realtor to sell their matrimonial home in the process of divorce. Number one, fighting over or refusing to hire a realtor because you don't trust them just because your soon-to-be ex recommended them. That's problem number one. Now, what I'm about to say next is based on the assumption that your disagreement is over a particular realtor who's not a relative or friend and is a divorce real estate specialist. Now, let's assume your soon-to-be ex has suggested a realtor who meets those two criteria. I've seen time and time again that many people are fighting or disagreeing for the wrong reasons. Here's what I mean. If your soon-to-be ex suggested a particular realtor, you might not trust the realtor or be willing to even consider them because you fear that the realtor will choose sides with your soon-to-be ex. I hear that often. Or alternatively, if you're fighting for the realtor of your choice, you might think it gives you more control over the process. But both theories are wrong, and here's why. Firstly, there are no sides to pick. Only the family lawyer picks sides because, well, they have to defend or look out for his or her own client. That's their obligation. What most people don't realize that in real estate, both parties, both sellers are actually my client, not just one of you. And it's none of my business as your realtor why the marriage ended or who did what. It's not my place to judge, not my place to pick sides. In fact, as a specialist in divorce real estate, it's my duty and obligation to avoid any bias or judgment or choosing sides. In fact, that's why most clients say that they've hired me in the past over a relative or friend that they knew, and why many family lawyers refer clients to me when they can't agree on a realtor of their own. It's my duty to give both of you my full fiduciary duties, my full attention, and my best effort to sell the house for the most money possible, or condo. Alternatively, if you think that you picked the realtor and that's going to give you more control, you're also wrong. And the reason is that on any real estate documents or forms, whether to list the property for sale, to select the asking price, or to make a price change, or anything, and of course including or accepting an offer, you both have to sign all appropriate real estate forms and documents in order to agree for anything to be legally binding. Without both spouses' signatures, no realtor can legally do what just one party wants without the other party's consent or knowledge. Another fear people have is not about control over the process, but rather control over the money. People think in error that if they choose the realtor, then they're going to control the money when it's received from the sale of the house. And if you're worried about agreeing to hire the realtor because your soon-to-be ex recommends them, and you likely fear or don't trust that your soon-to-be ex might get money or get control over the money that's due to you, that's also not true. Here's why. What many people either don't realize or they forget, because it's an emotionally trying time, is that when you sell real estate, it's not like selling a bicycle or furniture on Kijiji or Craigslist, where some stranger shows up at your driveway or at a parking lot and hands you cash or e-transfers you cash to one of you. When you sell real estate, the money is paid to your real estate lawyer, and that money is held in a lawyer's trust account. And the real estate lawyer won't release any funds to anyone unless there's either a court order instructing him or her who gets what, and if there's a court order, both you and your spouse are going to know about it, or a finalized separation agreement which is agreed to and signed by both parties and both family lawyers, all agreeing on who gets what of the funds. And often, that can also be accompanied with a letter of direction from both family lawyers to the real estate lawyer before the real estate lawyer will disperse any funds. So regardless of how persuasive you might be or persuasive that you fear your soon-to-be ex can be, the real estate lawyer will hold all money until the above criteria are met. So people often hire or don't hire a realtor for those wrong reasons. The problem can be hiring a realtor who's not a specialist in divorce real estate and who can't remain impartial and unbiased. Here's what I mean. Sometimes a realtor will tell you that they don't want to pick sides or they won't pick sides, especially if you want a relative or friend to be your realtor. Sometimes they still might naturally pick sides without even realizing it. Other times they might not. But what many agents who don't specialize in divorce real estate situations will do, because it's human nature, is choose the path of least resistance. So if the realtor doesn't have the training, experience, the confidence, and the skills required to remain unbiased and deal with conflict head on, meaning one of the spouse can be confrontational, what can happen is when one spouse seems easygoing and agreeable, or they're tired of fighting and just want everything to be finished and over with, but the other spouse is irate or irritable or confrontational about everything, sometimes a realtor without the expertise to handle these situations might choose to only communicate with the spouse who is agreeable and easier to get along with. It's human nature. As a divorce specialist, I understand that my job isn't just to sell the house. Even if one spouse is more stressful to deal with, my job is to communicate fairly and equally with both spouses. They're both my client, and my job is to facilitate communication between myself and each of them, and to de-escalate tensions if necessary to keep them both focused on the goal and making important decisions about the sale of the home. So what's more important than fearing that a realtor might side with your soon-to-be ex or thinking in error that you might control the realtor of choice? You should be more focused on choosing a realtor who can prove their past record of integrity and who can prove a history of successfully dealing with both sellers equally and all of the time. And it helps if they have the necessary communication skills to deal with different personality types who are going through different emotions and emotionally volatile times. So if you need to hire a realtor who claims to be a divorce specialist, don't just take their word for it just because they gave themselves a title. Here are some simple questions that you can ask when you first speak to them or you're interviewing them. Number one, what makes you a divorce real estate specialist? Now there's no right or wrong answer here, but it's laying the groundwork for the questions that they're going to answer. Number two, ask them for specific examples of knowledge or things that they know as a specialist that other generalists in the real estate profession don't know or wouldn't ordinarily be aware of. Number three, in addition to knowledge, number three is ask what skills they have that other generalists don't have or don't even know about. And please pay attention to the difference between hype and actual skill. If they say patience, that's a character trait, not a skill. It's also something that everyone says, and let's face it, patience is needed in every situation, not just divorce. So that's not a skill special to divorce. They really need to be more specific. Number four, ask how they got into the specialty of divorce real estate. Now there's no right or wrong answer again, but this is where hopefully they can lose their script and speak authentically if they truly are a specialist. Here's another tip. If you can see from someone's passion, their body language, their tone, and the details that they share that they're being or seeming authentic and not just giving you a sales pitch, they likely are a specialist. What they should do is tell you personal stories about something they went through as a professional with past clients that began introducing them to their new knowledge and to their new skills that were required at the time for helping those past clients through their divorce sale. In other words, if they say, when my parents got divorced, I knew then and there that I was going to help everyone I can, that's really sweet, but that doesn't make them a specialist. It makes them a nice person who wants to help. Now, if they say, here's an ideal answer that you should look for. If they say, X number of years ago, I had a client, and when they met that client was going through a complicated divorce. And during the time working together, they encountered this, where they explain the details of this, obviously. or they encountered that and they explain the details of what that is, which they'd never encountered before, and they had to learn how to handle it. And the result was X, Y, or Z. Notice the specific details here. No general statements. So it's likely authentic and relatable to your divorce. And so they might conclude with something like, over time and working with more and more clients who were getting divorced, they continue to encounter unique scenarios with every divorce client as it pertained to selling a matrimonial home. And that continued to add to their knowledge and continued to build their skills and all of their other situations. Now, that is experience, that is specialty, and a success track record all in one. That's what you're looking for, and that's what's hard to find. Here's another tip. When you're deciding if you should interview someone or you want to believe them during an interview, always apply the I should hope so test. A realtor who says, I get you the most money for your house, I should hope so, right? That's their job. Now, if you're thinking of using another realtor than me, but you would like to talk to me privately just to ask me examples of the specifics that I might use to help my clients so that you know what to look for, that's okay, just email me. I'm happy to help. I understand that. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have so that when you interview another realtor, you know what are good answers and bad answers and what to look for. So if you have any questions, me or my team of divorce specialists can answer any of your questions, and there's never any obligation or pressure. So just email me. It's strictly confidential. And be sure to check out my friends over at Divorce Specialist Group, because they have some really good professionals over there, and they have a really good free download on their website. It's a divorce checklist, covers a lot of really good information. And please hit the thumbs up button right now before you forget, just so that this video can help others in the same situation. Thanks for watching.